Good afternoon, good afternoon. What I'm about to say might score me an invitation to the year, or it might even earn me a lifetime ban. But nevertheless, it has to be said, and I'm going to say it. Many times, as men, and I'm speaking on behalf of many men, those that agree with me, they will simply raise their hand, and those that don't agree with me, nod your head. As men, it's not that we don't love. As men, it's not that. Okay, my connection is bad, extremely bad. Okay, sorry about that. My connection was extremely bad. So, as men, it's not that we don't love, it's not that we can't show emotions, but the way we show emotions is different from the way people perceive one has to show emotions. I recall when my mother, year 2000, I was still in high school. As I heard the news and I took catch the transport to my village, I'm a village boy, right? When I got into that taxi, many things were ringing in my mind and many things I had so much thoughts, but why did she die so soon? I mean, I still wanted, I had promised her that I was going to buy her something. I was going to buy her a tractor because as a subsistence farmer, she always did not have the right implements and tools to farm. So I always had things that I imagined that I would do for my mother. So already it shows that I had the compassion and the feelings, but probably I couldn't express them in words. I couldn't express them in action. I couldn't tell her just enough how much I loved her. I could not tell her and express how much I cherished her presence in my life. But as I sat in that car, I knew that a part of my being has been taken away from me. And at one point, I remember I shed a tear. But it wasn't for a very long time. I shed a tear for a moment. And we went to the funeral, but when we got there, she had already been buried. So I never had a moment really cry. And then one day, as I'm sitting alone, I'm now a boy, grown up boy, whether it's a boy or man, something like that. I'm now grown up and I started to remember some of the things that I had wanted to do for my mom. My mom had gone through some hardships raising us as kids. For instance, to put it into perspective, me and my brother were merely separated by 9 months. So, in other words, the reason why I'm saying 9 months is the real gap between me and my brother is 1 year, 1 year, 10 months. So 1 year, 10 months. If you take 1 year, 10 months, and there is a time 9 months that I was in the belly. So it means we are technically separated by, let me just say, a year. So because she did not have the resources, she would have to carry one child at the back, strap one child at the back, and then carry the other. At the same time, sustain the household. At the same time, go to the fields to plant, go and fetch some water, go and fetch some firewood, and prepare a meal for both of us and herself. So by the time she would go to sleep, she would be dead tired. And not only that, she would be doing such without any other resources. And all those things I've had in my mind, and I said, if I could get a moment, this is what I could have done. But I'm not going to sit here and say, but why did she die at the time that she died? Who else should have died? So now, Even if I did not cry, like most men don't cry, to all the ladies that are going to watch this, know that I felt the pain. I still feel the pain today. I also recall that when I was growing up, my father was the kind of man that would not come and give you an embrace. He's working in Gauteng and we are staying in the villages. And most of the time, he would only come once in a year. The funny thing is, as he would come, the very first thing that he would do, he would be tired and say, I just want to sleep. You're expecting a man and you are happy to see him. He comes, as he drops off the car, you expect him to get a huge, big embrace and a hug already developed. I'm not sure when they were exported to the rural areas, but probably since they were exported just recently. So now, you don't get a hug, you don't get an appreciation. He says, I want to go and sleep because I'm tired. I didn't realize now when I was grown up and now I've got my own kids and family. There are days that I am so exhausted and tired, and what I just need is to sleep. Does that mean that I don't love my kids? No. To the contrary, I love them so much to the point that I can toil and toil, sweat, so that they can have a better life than I had. And then I realized that my father was trying his best to raise us and to support us, given the little that he had. He didn't have any education. He didn't have anything, so he was trying his all this time that we could not see him. He was working tirelessly so that we could go to school. He's working so hard so that we could eat. Yes, we never. I've now come to the realization that my father loved my kids, but he did not have the means and the ways to express it. So the absence of a means or way to express it does not mean there is absence of love, of concern, or compassion. So as men, most of the time when we get back to work and our kids run to us, we just give them a quick hug and then we go on with our business. It does not mean that we don't love our kids. It does not mean that we don't love our wives. We really do. At times, we fail to find the ways, the words, and the actions to express our love. But deep down, we are so much compassionate. Deep down, it comes to hit us to say, let's do our best to show these people some love. Like I said, many people, they would disagree with me. But the way I love my family, it's so deep. It's so deep. It's so deep. The way I loved my mother, while I'm faced with difficulties, I actually also think of her. I remember there are so many things that I always assume and uneducated those things. But she's no longer here. If she was here, I was going to hold her and say, Mama, I really love you. Best around, or I'm not the best in the pond, but I'm trying to be the best version of myself. And if that best version of myself is not going to be good enough for many people, if society is not going to recognize the compassion, the empathy, the concern that I have, it's all good, it's all fine. But I know deep down that I do. So, all the men out there, whenever something happens and they expect you to cry, don't feel despondent. If you can cry, cry. But if you cannot, know that it does not mean you are not touched. You are touched, but you express it the way you can. And the way you can is different from what society expects or what others can. But it is you. Do you.